Hello, it's Victor Dadaj. I hope you're having an amazing day. So for today, I want to go over Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich, and chapter 9, which is persistence. Persistence is a very important trait to have if you want to be successful. And Hill starts off by saying persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. The basis of persistence is the power of will. Willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. Men who accumulate great fortunes are generally known as cold-blooded and sometimes ruthless. They are often misunderstood. What they have is willpower, which they mix with persistence and place back of their desires to ensure the attainment of their objectives. So what these successful men are doing is they combine willpower and persistence, and as a result of that, they're able to become very successful, even though many people misunderstood what type of people they really are. And Hill goes on to say lack of persistence is one of the major causes of failure. Moreover, experience with thousands of people have proved that lack of persistence is a weakness common to the majority of men. It is a weakness which may be overcome by effort. So even though the vast majority of people suffer from lack of persistence, with effort, they can overcome it. And he says, the ease with which lack of persistence may be conquered will depend entirely upon the intensity of one's desire. So what he's saying is, if you have a strong desire, you can overcome it. And Hill reminds us that the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results. Just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. If you find yourself lacking persistence, this weakness may be remedied by building a stronger fire under your desires. So if you're not getting great results, chances are you probably have small desires. If you want to get great results, you need to have great big desires. The bigger your desire, the more likely you will have strong results. And Hill says, without persistence, you will be defeated even before you start. With persistence, you will win. Now, there are many examples throughout history of people who have been very successful because they persisted and did not give up. And I will share a couple of examples. Colonel Sanders had this special chicken recipe that he wanted to market to the people of the United States. And he went to all these different vendors and he experienced 1,009 rejections. All of them said no to the special chicken recipe. But after each rejection, he did not give up. Even though the vast majority of people probably would have given up after 5 or 10 rejections, he kept persisting, he kept going on. And eventually the 1,010 person he went to said yes. And as a result of Colonel Sanders not giving up, there are thousands and thousands of Kentucky Fried Chicken stores that have opened up throughout the world who are selling that special chicken of his. It's all because Colonel Sanders did not give up. He persisted. Another example is Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. These two men wrote a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul in the early 90s. They experienced rejection from 144 publishers. Again, the vast majority of people probably would have given up after 5 or 10 rejections. But after each rejection, these men said, next, we're going to go to another publisher and to another publisher. And eventually they went to the 145th publisher who said yes. And as a result, that book got published, and Chicken Soup for the Soul became the third best-selling book of the entire 1990s. And it spawned a whole group of books based on Chicken Soup for the Soul, Chicken Soup for the Mother's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Gardener's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Widow's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Prisoner's Soul. All those books that are part of the Chicken Soup for the Soul book series have sold about 500 million copies. And it's all because Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen did not give up when 144 publishers said no, because they persevered, they were persistent, and the 145th publisher said yes to them. So remember, if you're persistent, you can achieve a lot of great things. You just have to remember not to give up. Napoleon Hill continues by saying, persistence is a state of mind. Therefore, it can be cultivated. Like all states of mind, it is based upon definite causes, and he gives examples as to how you can overcome them. So he's teaching us here, number one, It's not like you're born with it, you can't overcome it. Even if you suffer from lack of persistence, you can learn to overcome it. You can work on it. You got to develop the habit of being persistent. You got to have that willpower. You got to have that desire. You got to have definite plans on how to deal with it. And if you're able to do these things, you can overcome the lack of persistence. You can become a persistent person. You can learn it. And that's the great thing. So remember, all hope is not lost. You can learn to become persistent. There are thousands and thousands, millions of people who have learned to become persistent. And as a result, they have achieved a lot of great success. And he ends by listing a bunch of reasons why people are not persistent. But I'm going to focus on the main one. He says, fear of criticism, failure to create plans and to put them into action because of what other people think, do, or say. This enemy belongs at the head of the list because it generally exists in one's own subconscious mind, where its presence is not recognized. So a lot of people are afraid of criticism. They're afraid they're going to be judged if they don't succeed, if they come across any kind of adversity. If they don't achieve immediate success, they're afraid of that people are going to criticize. They're going to fear of being judged by other people. And fear of judgment stops a lot of people from taking action. And he's saying you need to not let that stop you. Don't let the fear of criticism, the fear of judgment stop you. And unfortunately, a lot of people do. He says people refuse to take chances in business because they fear the criticism which may follow if they fail. The fear of criticism in such cases is stronger than the desire for success. So what he's saying is, don't let the fear of criticism be stronger than your desire for success. Let your desire for success be stronger than any fear of criticism. Be persistent. Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let it stop you. And if you're able to do that, you will be successful. So remember, persistence. You can learn it. You can achieve it. If you have the strong desire, if you make it a habit, if you put in the effort, if you mix persistence with willpower, you can achieve great things. You can become successful. So remember, be persistent. So those are my tips for today. And that is my summary of chapter 9 of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, Persistence. I hope you got a lot of value. And if you did, please subscribe to my channel below. This is Victor Didash signing off. Have yourself an amazing day. Take care. God bless.